Hello, my lovely YouTubers. So, as you can see, my Brassicalia Cattleya Husky Boy Romeo is now in bud. In my last video, I showed you guys the sheath covering there, and I wasn't sure completely if there were buds on the inside, but just a few days later, and a little hole developed at the top of the sheath, and I could peek inside a little bit and see the buds in there. And as the opening grew, I just decided to peel it back. So that's what is going on right here. I peeled back the sheath so that these larger buds here could develop uninhibited by that sheath there. I haven't removed the entire sheath though, because I do want to protect the buds that could be still forming down here. But these ones here are just going to swell and get bigger. They're not necessarily at a early stage of development like the ones that are probably in here are. I can count 4 buds. You guys can probably count 4 buds as well. There might be some more down at the bottom. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes once the spike gets a little bit bigger. But I did want to update you guys and let you know that this brown covering here did have buds inside. So like I said, don't remove old sheaths or obviously, if the Cattleya has bloomed before and it has that older sheath, you can remove that because it's not going to bloom from that old growth. But if it's a new growth that makes a sheath and then nothing happens and the sheath dries up, just leave it there because the orchid might decide to do something with it and bloom like this one has. This one has been in sheath since about, I think, July is when this one was in sheath. So that's quite a long time. Now, some orchids takes even longer for them to bloom. I have one that's been in sheath for, I think it was May or June when it developed that sheath. So I'm hoping it'll do something with that sheath, but I'm not sure that anything is going to happen. It's been empty. It's still green, though. The sheath is still green, so we'll see what happens with that. But I did want to update you guys on this beautiful Cattleya. I can't wait until it blooms. I did sort of squeeze the sheath there, so I don't know if that's damage that happened as a result, which is why the lip of the orchid is like that. I haven't seen this one bloom before, so I don't know if that's just the way that it develops or not. We'll see what happens. But I did squeeze the sheath a little bit because I was pretty sure the grower told me this is a green sheath bloomer. So when I saw the sheath dry up and turn brown, I was almost certain nothing was going to happen with it, and something had happened. I'd maybe given it too much light or not enough light and caused the buds inside to blast. But I guess this is a brown sheath bloomer. And you can see a new growth, well, sort of, a new growth over to the side here. So hopefully that one will develop as well. And then I can have 2 sets of blooms going on. I'm super duper excited about this one here. I noticed a spike on it just the other day. You can see that spike forming there. This is my Fred Clark area After Dark Morning After and Catasetum pileatum green gold. So this one is actually going to be a green color, a green blooming catasetum. I cannot wait for it. I bought this one earlier this year, so these buds will be greatly anticipated. You can see the rest of the plant here still has its leaves. It did lose this lower leaf that was hiding this spike, so that's how I saw the spike in the first place. This leaf here actually came off. So I'll update you guys as this spike progresses. Here is my Catasetum sanguineum with Susan Fuchs, and I told you guys in my last video that the blooms on this one would be spotted because of the Susan Fuchs influence, and you can actually see the spotting on the blooms now. In my last video you couldn't, but now you can see the little maroon spots on the blooms there, or buds, excuse me. On the buds there, you can see the little maroon spots, and you can actually see that they're developing sort of that little pimple thing right there. That's going to be the lip of the orchid. So I'm very, very excited for this one to bloom. It's progressing much more rapidly now. The buds are swelling, so it should be maybe another couple of weeks before this one blooms. So I had a comment on one of my videos about how the Paphiopedilum is doing that I repotted in one of my first videos. Here is that Paphiopedilum. You can see he's doing okay. He's been kind of slow growing. I think it's because I've been keeping him a little bit on the too moist side, so he kind of halted growth a little bit, but he's doing well. It's just he's not growing rapidly. You know, Paphiopedilums, they don't grow rapidly anyways. But I think that excess moisture just caused him to sort of grow even slower. But he's still healthy. He's got a nice sheen to his leaves, and that new leaf has started back up growth, so that's good. So just a little update on that guy that I repotted for you guys. I know I shouldn't really be anticipating this dendrobium to bloom because, you know, it's just a noid dendrobium, but I really want this guy to bloom. His buds just keep getting darker. They're not opening. This one is the biggest bud here. You can see it in comparison to my hand there. So it's actually a pretty big bud, but they just keep getting bigger. They're not doing anything. I would just open, why don't you? But yeah, so anyways, I don't really have much else to talk about, so if you guys see something you want me to talk about, or yeah. So, oh, and there's my Cool Mist humidifier. I took the top off of it because it was kind of annoying. But I really like this Cool Mist humidifier. It doesn't add a whole lot of humidity like I was expecting it to, but it does a fairly decent job. I mean, one of the biggest problems with indoor growing is keeping up humidity. I think the best way that I found to keep up humidity is to keep them inside of a larger pot. So you've got their plastic pot, and then you've got this, you can use a decorative pot. It doesn't really matter what kind. I like to use the ones that are glazed or a larger plastic pot with no drainage. So you have to take it out of the pot in order to water it. But I put them back in as soon as I'm done watering them, and then the humidity it stays around the plant. So that's been the best way I've found to increase humidity. So I'm ready for spring already, and we're not even into winter yet. But it's nice to grow your orchids outdoors because you don't have to worry about humidity and you don't have to worry about watering them. At least I don't, because Mother Nature takes care of all of that. So if you guys see something that you want me to talk about or do a video on, I am all ears. Leave a comment down in the comments section and I will make a video on it. Alrighty guys, so if you liked this video, go ahead and hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one in the future, and I will see you guys later.